everyone, welcome back. I'm Melissa Pineda, and today I will be discussing the book The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. So this book was published in 1942, and C.S. Lewis is one of the greatest authors, scholars of the 20th century. He was born in Ireland in 1898 and died in England in 1963, and he's written everything from the Chronicles of Narnia to Mere Christianity. Okay, if there's anything today that you hear that you like or find interesting, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'm going to put the link to the book in the description, just so you know where to find it. So why listen to this review? I'm going to tell you in under 10 minutes everything you need to know about this book. This book is one of a kind. It is so interesting and so relevant today. It's basically conversation among demons trying to corrupt man's soul. It is all about spiritual warfare, and it is incredibly interesting. So that's why you should listen to my review. So as mentioned, this book is a conversation between a senior demon named Screwtape and Wormwood, a lesser demon, which is his nephew. And he's basically guiding and counseling this lesser demon in the art of corrupting man's soul. And they're sort of like a test case study. There's someone that they call the patient, and they're trying to win him over. In this book, God is constantly referred to as the enemy, and Wormwood is being counseled by his uncle on how to bring the patient away from God and to the dark side, basically. C.S. Lewis, when he was asked about writing this book, he said that it was really difficult for him because much like an actor has to study their role, and sometimes they get a little too invested in it to the point where like they really do feel like they are their character. That's sort of what happened to C.S. Lewis. Like, he really had to put himself in the position of the devil, he said, and it was extremely disturbing. So in the letters back and forth between these demons, the elder senior demon, Screwtape, counsels his nephew and advises him on ways to sort of exploit human weakness. This book is all about spiritual warfare and how the devil tries daily to infiltrate our lives and to corrupt us, to turn us away from God, and to get us to focus on things that feel good and that make us happy all the time. C.S. Lewis was writing this in 1942, but that is what society is about in 2025. The idea of, if it feels good, do it, do what's good for you, without any concern for what it might be doing to your soul, corrupting your soul by acting, for the pleasures of the flesh, or doing what feels good right now instead of doing what is right. As it was written, of course, during Second World War, and it was written as a series of newspaper articles, and it was so popular that he ended up just publishing it as a book, but it really spoke to what people were feeling, like that the devil was everywhere. Death was everywhere, killing was everywhere, atrocities were happening left, right, and center during World War II. And so it was quite the example. Like, C.S. Lewis was just putting it out there in a very unique way, what everyone sort of felt at that time. And so Screwtape had assigned the patient to Wormwood. And it was sort of like a test, like he was counseling his nephew on how to corrupt the patient, and he would congratulate him on making little strides in that way. And so, for instance, Screwtape would tell Wormwood things like, okay, really encourage the patient to feel annoyed by his family members, and to feel that they're annoying him on purpose. And these little things, like almost playing on our weakness as humans. And so in this book, the devil's playing on that, to really attack the family and to pull family members apart, that is a huge goal of the devil, and that's what C.S. Lewis was portraying in this book. It's interesting because God is referred to as the enemy and Satan is referred to our Father below. And it's really witty, like really witty, the way C.S. Lewis wrote this book. And it was really an enjoyable read, while at the same time a little creepy because it just is a little too realistic. And C.S. Lewis was essentially critiquing social and religious trends at that time in 1942. But it's so interesting because, I mean, this book could have been written in 2025 and been just as relevant. In this one letter written by Screwtape to his nephew, he talks about how it's the everyday little sins that add up, and that's the important thing, because every day we get pulled away from God by continuously sinning and not recognizing our sins or asking forgiveness for them. And so, for instance, Screwtape says, "You will say that these are very small sins, and doubtless, like all young tempters, you are anxious to be able to report spectacular wickedness. But do remember, the only thing that matters is the final result. It is the little everyday sins that in the long run are the surest basis for damnation. The great thing is to keep up the trivial, distracting stream of surface consciousness and prevent the patient from ever making any great, serious resolution about his own behavior." So that's just it, to almost get used to sinning and living a life devoid of morals and values and God. And that is the path to the devil. And so you have the uncle demon, the senior demon, advising his nephew on how to do this. And I'm not going to give away what happens. I'm not going to tell you if they're successful in corrupting the patient's soul. But let's just say the stakes are high, because if the junior demon doesn't corrupt this human soul, then he gets punished. And I will tell you what the punishment is. So if his nephew fails, he actually gets eaten by the demons of hell. So, and that's coming from his uncle. And it really is relevant to today in terms of social and religious trends, in terms of divisiveness, in terms of the devil being at work, and it really being a choice and a fight every day to choose to do the right thing. It's also very relevant to today because of the central themes throughout the book. So just the aspects of human psychology, morality, spiritual distraction, but also just spiritual warfare. And it's so easy to get distracted with the trivial. It's easy, it's fun, it's pleasurable, binge on Netflix or do something, go out drinking, and pay more attention to the things that give you instant gratification as opposed to the things that really matter, like God, like family. This book really speaks to that in a really witty but scary way. So I'm going to leave it there. If there's anything that you found interesting or that you liked, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for listening. Until next time.